let's make sure. Oh, the streams are via streaming. All right, Twitch is up and running. YouTube is being tardy as always. All right, I think YouTube should be here now. Hello, YouTube. Welcome to Code Hangout number 160. Yesterday we did inserts, and I think we finished that. So now we want to do updates. And what am I looking at? Okay, this is a server. Let's hide the things we don't need. So let me think. So create link. So I think I'm going to also start renaming things. So create link, update link. We'll rename these things to short ID, right? And I think this, you know, I made these admin prefix calls. I see. Short ID. Oh, okay. Gotta be careful because I was thinking I can get rid of them and wrap them in here, but I think because it was being used for the auto short ID stuff, let's leave these separate for now, and that'll be our interface between PuzzleDB and the rest. Okay, so now the one thing it's doing here is if short ID is undefined, it gets a short ID out of there. And the reason I'm doing that is because otherwise I don't know which short ID to use, right? So that's the only difference between this and the update API here. All right. So I guess we can go here now. Not here. Here, where everything should be more organized. I think this we won't need now. And I think we want to get rid of as many of these as possible and wrap them in here. Also, what we're not doing right now is we're not writing to the files. And we might have to add that in somehow. All right, so update short ID. Now, we've worked on that earlier, but I think create short ID is now our sort of template of how this should work. And I think I'm going to add some comments in here. So, what do we got? Well, first, if short ID is undefined, is not equal to undefined. So, check for short ID collision. Check for hash, and collision is spelled with one S. Hash collision. Generate new short ID if missing. If not provided. And then should that happen before the hash collision check? I think this can happen before that because it doesn't use anything. No, because we're using doc to check, to exit. So if we have a hash collision and no short ID, we just return that, and that's where it, yeah. I feel like we probably want to return the short ID from here instead of just the puzzle. So in other words, the API that we have here, we might actually want to push that one level in. So we don't have to worry about this aspect. So this maybe should just return short ID and puzzle as a thingy. Bam. Let's leave it like this for now. If no return existing puzzle. All right. Do I want to indent these? Like all these little things, they might turn into functions. We'll see. Do I want to just exit from this triple check here? If I'm trying to think if I can pull this up as a throw statement, right? So this kicks in if we have a document and we have a hash collision. Because we found something by hash. Okay, so if doc is not equal to null, and obviously at this point we know the hash is the same because that's how we retrieve the document. And we know, and if these are different, and that is not equal to that. Whoop. Don't know what it just tried to do. Then we'll do this. All right. Then we can get rid of that. And now we'll just have a if else because this check is already excluded by that. And let's see if there's something we can validate further here. So the difference is insert one, replace one. Now, if we do an upsert, I'm just saying, can we simplify this code, right? So, for example, what if we do an upsert here instead? So we know we don't have a short ID collision because that's already been handled up here. If is not equal to undefined. Await. If docs. Okay. I think some of these will probably create it, like turn into functions. So we'll do something like API helpers. And here we'll have something like p.shortID exists async function shortID. And it's basically more or less this. Something like this. And then he'll just return null is not equal to this. If null is equal to it, then short exists is false. Right. Can I do a better check there? MongoDB Node.js record or document exists. I think find one is just what you'll do, right? Yeah. So, that's true. Actually, I'm tempted to just get rid of this and put that up here. Puzzle info. So what if I do if I just say get by short ID, and then it's just this. I don't you need to await. Now I don't know if this is a slow operation and doing it multiple times is problematic. We could cache it. Then we can do this dot collections. Do something like that. And then here we'll do just puzzle info equals that. Because now we can just say collections puzzle info. In fact, we can just do this like that, and it's cached. Let's see if that makes sense. MongoDB Node.js cache collections. Like, does that make sense? According to docs, the basic idiom will something like this. Let me just make sure all the streams are working, because I've had some weird things in the recent past. Server, DB, and collection involved. Basically, my question is, which of these cans should be loaded at startup and cached somewhere to be reused at every HTTP, which most should be recreated per request? My assumption is that it's okay for server DB. Sure about the collection object. DB open. All things. Server connected database and collection. Kick off your app. ODMs and MongoDB like Mongoose, Dukes, and cells. In case you're doubtful, you might want to use async to avoid nesting your code too deeply. Person MongoLite. Which lets me require MongoLite connect Mongo blah blah blah. It doesn't exist anymore. Okay. All right. Sounds like we can do that. And I mean, this could now just do this. So now we can just say if await, or let's invert it because null is quite short. This await this dot get by short ID. And then I'd rather do this, and then we don't need a doc here. And we can combine these two, I think, if short ID is not equals undefined, and so if short ID is not undefined and get by short ID is not null, then we have a collision. Boom. And we don't need the doc object here. All right, next step, check for hash collision. So we'll do this similar thing, right? We'll just say get by hash. Don't you need that now? Now, slowly we're gonna clean things up. So in this case, we probably don't even need next puzzle info just yet. Parse puzzle raw. This generates the hash somewhere. Create hash. I think I want to pull these into this thing here. So we actually want to do c.create hash here. We don't want to reference the global thing. And I think we don't need to generate all that puzzle info object just yet at this point. So if we do this, right? And we'll basically use this. Wait. Wait. Do I want to undo all this? Because I deleted the, this short ID exists. No, I already deleted a bunch of stuff. Okay, never mind. Alright. Because we actually want collections like that. Instead of that. And then we want to do this query with the hash. All right. If I run, I'm wondering if I should run the test just yet. Also, I think we're not using this right now. And I think we can just do this up here as well. Since that's cached now. Now, here the difference is we're using the doc for a couple of different things. Kind of use it up to here. And next puzzle info is getting used from here onwards. I'm just thinking, like, the later I execute this, which is the expensive part, the better. So if I say equals await this dot get by hash, and then we'll do I thought I pasted the hash function here somewhere, but it's gonna create hash puzzle. And I think I'm gonna rename this to puzzle raw, so I kind of know what I'm talking about. Kind of like that. Now this, at this point, doesn't kick in yet. Yeah, and here we need the nested if, because this needs to execute if we don't get past here. Sharon, your short ID if not provided, yeah. And then we have the doc. Now, maybe we rename this to prev info. Like that. So wherever we're saying doc, we'll now use pref info or previous info. Right? And now we need next puzzle info. So we're gonna move that. We'll do that next. Parse puzzle raw. Right, and we'll rename that just to give us an opportunity to touch the code in each of these places. Check for hash collision. That's not exactly what we're doing here. We're doing that here. Do we need pref info? Yes. Okay, but at each stage, we only do the minimum amount of work that we need by that point. Now here we'll check for insert new info. Add short ID to existing info. Puzzle info. Maybe we'll put that inside these. Do I want to return from here? I'll probably want to return from here. Feels inconsistent, but here we are. Is there something else I can simplify here? So we have 1, 2 of these variables. We have results twice here. Maybe these. I feel like these could be merged. I can probably do an upsert here. And the only reason I'm even considering it is because that's like the bulk of the code, and it was just simplified, and it's not about now, it's about understanding it down the line. What about the replace one? Replace one. Because if you're doing this, it doesn't have the rest of the data there. I'm guessing it's a performance issue. Like if I'm replacing the whole document instead of making one small change, I'm guessing it'll do more. Because in a weird way, I don't actually want to do this here either, right? Because at this, yeah, I don't think we need to do this. Right. Here we're inserting because the document just doesn't exist. That's easy. But here, we don't want to actually replace the whole document. We do want to do an update one, right? Because we know kind of what we're updating here. And I should figure out how to do that. So we should be able to do let res equals await puzzle info update 1. ID is prefinfo.id. That's our selector. And we could replace the whole short IDs. MongoDB update array element I'm pretty sure there must be like a push thing. Like $push, I think. No information about how the Node.js MongoDB implements update document with Node.js MongoDB driver reference. Also, the native MongoDB implementer works. This is documented here. This is done using the dot notation. Push. Okay. So instead of a set, we should be able to do a push to short IDs. And it's not nested further than that. And it'll basically be this. Like that. Right? Add short ID to existing puzzle info. Now, the question is, do we have to retrieve the document then? Or do we have to do this manually before we return it? Okay. I think we're gonna have to check on that. So we're gonna have to do something like this. I will do it again afterwards. And we'll probably want to revive our little test thing there. So if I do this, it blows up. Already exists, okay. New 07 already exists. How about new 8? Timed out. Is my MongoDB asleep? Alright, duplicate key error. Let's give ourselves some breathing space here. So, duplicate key error collection, blah, blah, blah. Now, wait. Okay, that's new. So, we're getting to insert one. Rev info. Ref info is null. Console.log. And under next info, we'll output next info. So, pref info is null. I don't think that's correct. Pretty sure we added this a million times yesterday. Is it that the way I'm calculating the hash now by not going through the parser is problematic? Oh yeah, it's very problematic. Because it needs to do the validation first to get a true hash. Ah, that's annoying. All right. All right. All right. I'm not smarter than I was yesterday, somehow. So we'll do this. And we'll do the parsing here, right? And then by hash. So we do the short ID check here. In fact, where's the get by hash? Oh, here. So we'll actually want to do this. And then we'll just do this. Dot hash. Boom. So in a weird way, we're always indexing by hash anyways. My favorite thing. All right. So pref info short ID 1, pref info short ID is 2. New 6, new 6. Okay. We'll probably want to output the length as well. Otherwise, in the logs, it'll be hard to see what's going on. Acknowledged. Unexpected result. Acknowledged 0. Wait, what? What is the error here? Modified count, I guess, is 0. Yeah. Push. Let new short ID. We'll make this like that. Push that in here. The hell's going on here? New short ID. All right, test new 08. It shouldn't exist. So, oh frick. Why do we have a set in here? Okay, so the question is this updated afterwards? It is not. But if I refresh this now, we'll get a short ID collision because it already exists. Okay. So this is the most performant version, but we'll have to do both things. We'll still have to do this. I think I want to wrap that. So p dot add short ID async function puzzle or info. Too many things called puzzle info. Short ID. And the question is how many validation checks do we want to do here? But for now, we're just going to basically do this. If I do this, info short ID, and then instead of doing this, I'm going to do let res equals await this dot add short ID. And where are we adding it? We're adding it to prev info. now we need to update this, otherwise it won't work. Ref info is not defined. Sure. So now we gotta go in here. I'm just suddenly realizing this part in the sound sounds like a phone vibrating, and I find that very distressing. Okay, where are these coming from? Who's outputting all of this? Res. Add short ID. Let's also get rid of these for a sec. And minimize these because I keep wasting time scrolling over them. We'll do this. And then we'll do something like find short ID SID short ID. Don't know where all of this is still coming from. Who's outputting the whole thing? Somebody's outputting res. Probably on the outside. It's just too spammy right now. Alright. So, we've got the short ID. We've got the new short ID. We've got the find, which is undefined. Okay. 6, 7. Then if we do the find 2, I'm guessing there it'll be present. Find 2. Yeah. Return info. I think I'm going to call it pinfo. Like that. And I think what we're going to do is something like const underscore ID short IDs equals pinfo. Right? And then we don't need that. We don't need that. Come on. And then here we can just do this. Right? And then pinfo isn't actually used anywhere. Puzzle info is not defined. And probably one line of this now. Here we're handling this. And we can probably const this as well. So it goes from 6 to 7. I'm going to force it to be one that already exists. Just as a test. Like if I do this. If I do this. Ah, because we've written it already now. God damn it. Instead of creating more and more short IDs, I should just tell it to not do that part. Anyway, we got more digits. So 7, 8 on the find. So we don't want to add that in if it already exists. Short ID modified, I think that comes when we're doing the puzzle updates, right? Does it make sense to update all the modified dates for each short ID? Now that I'm thinking about it, it doesn't make sense because short IDs isn't what... Short IDs don't get updated. Puzzles get updated. Except, not necessarily, now realizing I can repoint a short ID at a new puzzle that already exists, that isn't being modified. Yeah, I'm not sure if the modified time on short IDs makes a lot of sense. It's just going to be a bit of hassle to maintain it, but for now, we'll leave it in. So, we'll do this. If... And find. Does find return null or undefined? I don't recall right now. So earlier when we did find and it failed... undefined. All right. And we just throw an exception. We shouldn't be in here under these circumstances. All right. So we can now get rid of that and now test the full proper version. And we should be able to get rid of all of this now. So here we're checking for short ID collision. We can actually do that before we create this. So, you know, let's keep things efficient in that sense at least. All right, now if we run this once, res is undefined. If we run it again, we get the collision. Increment this. We'll just add another short ID and we'll get this back with 11 in it. Okay. So now this is wrapped. And instead of doing all of this, I think we can literally just say this. And I think we'll just do p insert puzzle info. I don't think we need a short ID for that. Can I just do this? We'll do some of that. We'll do this. We don't need that. We'll do this, and then we'll just have the throw here. And then we'll just return pinfo again. But one of the problems is that pinfo here is will not have the right ID and all that stuff. So we kind of want to double check this here. So if I do this, JSON.stringify and JSON.parse, right? And we'll do a 1 and 2, and then we'll do a 2, and then we'll do a get by hash. Await this dot get by hash pinfo.hash. And now we want to do this on the short puzzle, on this one. And we'll probably have to do disable the exist checks here. Okay, where do we hit now? I think we want to skip this as well. Probably the best thing for the test would be to just delete the item first. Add short ID collision. I do this and I force this branch here. Yeah, we got a duplicate key error, but oh, because we're not actually running this yet. Okay. So instead of this, we're gonna do let res equals await this dot insert puzzle info. Next info, and then we'll output res the result. Yes, we got the duplicate key error, but pinfo1 pinfo. Right. How do we erase this? Can I let puzzle raw equals, can I do something like this? This dot collections dot puzzle info dot find one puzzle raw. If I do this by puzzle raw, will that do a thing? Res null. Find one puzzle raw. So unfortunately, this is not a match. Right. If we'll have to go through the whole thing to get the hash and blah blah blah. All right. We call this pinfo. And we'll just do instead of doing this. Right, and we say let res equals this dot by hash info.hash. Does that do the trick? Did I not copy the whole thing? I think I didn't copy the whole thing. I think I double clicked it and that terminates on certain characters. All right. Got the hash. Crashed. By hash. Get by hash. All right. So now what I really want to do is I want to erase this thing. And I think that's fine. We'll be adding it in many times. It's just a test puzzle, right? So we probably want to look at delete operations. So we'll probably can just do a delete one. Right? And we can just say hash. Boom. And later on, yeah, we'll do a higher level delete function here as well. Now, if I do it run again, it'll probably come back with an error. Delete count 0, delete count 1. Okay. So we should be able to shorten this to this. Boom, boom, bada boom. And we'll just do this. And we'll probably do this for now. And this. And now, we shouldn't get these collisions. One thing I haven't handled yet is adding short IDs to more than the same short ID to more than one puzzle. But that should be eliminated by this, I think. Except here, it's checked. Okay, so in theory, we can add it to more than one. Yeah, well, it's not normalized, so that's to be expected. All right, so p info 2. Okay, so we are deep inside insert puzzle info. P info 2, p info blah blah blah. Then get by hash. Now the question is, yeah, get by hash will have an ID. Ooh, this has an ID. This doesn't. So it does modify this object. Okay, so that's what I wanted to know. So maybe it'll do it up here as well. Except with the update one, it didn't seem to do that. All I wanted to know is if the ID gets added. But it does look different. It's a different kind of thing. All right, so calling insert one does add the ID value. And maybe we can do this instead. So if I do this and then do that after, yeah. Unexpected result, insert one. Acknowledge true inserted ID. Insert one. ID is not equal to undefined. Acknowledged is not equals to true, or is not equal to. Oh, that's wrong. Okay. Insert puzzle info. So insert puzzle info, we're still outputting that down here. Okay. And res is now what we want to output, right? Except we don't even need to do this. Except in this case where we want to put it there. Now, why can't I just call add short ID? Because add short ID does this whole thing, huh? Because now I'm thinking, well, why don't I do this first and then do this after? I.e., if it doesn't exist, well, why don't we just insert it without the short ID and then we update the short ID? And then we don't meddle with that out here. So if pref info is null, forget this. We're inserting next info. And that's... And that becomes then prev info. And then we just do this. Then we're updating. We're returning prev info. We're always going to return prev info. Because if prev info is null, at this point, we're inserting next info to become prev info. Right. So that should always bring us full circle. And if I check something by short IDs, ugh, what was it? It's kind of annoying, isn't it? LMH. We want to do this. And the short ID we're testing with is this. And do we already have a case with multiple puzzles having the same short ID? I think so. We have these and these. Yeah, problematic to say the least. But this is a simplification of the case, which is kind of what I'm looking for here. All right. Now, the short ID looks more complicated, but I think it's mostly because of the additional error checking. Now, the question is, do we want to do a global short ID index check first? Because then it gets a little bit inefficient because we've done that already down here. So I'm going to vote no. Okay. So down here, where are we at now? If previous info doesn't exist, we're inserting it, and now we're adding short ID. All right, now up here we're checking for short ID collision. And then we're doing that. Here we're generating the short ID. And then here we're checking for hash collision with the short ID. Okay, so here we have our two things. If short ID is undefined, and we have a previous info, then we just return it. And then let the source figure out what short ID needs to be. Otherwise, we generate a new short ID. Because I'm thinking this looks very much like that, and this isn't needed until there. So maybe at this point we don't actually care about short ID just yet. We don't need to create it yet. This looks like an early exit. But this is just a check. So this is also an exit, right? Now if we have a hash collision, is that a problem? If no short ID is given, it's not a problem. That's why this was before. Because the hash collision just means this puzzle already exists. No, except this checks if the hash is the same, but the puzzle data is different. In which case we do have a collision. Okay, so we can do that first. If pref info is null, is not null. Yeah. It just means in that case, pref info will never be null. So this is basically a given. Okay, I understand now. All right. So what we need to check is if short ID is undefined. Basically, if short ID is undefined, my brain. There's two cases. No, there's three cases. If short ID is not undefined, we'll add it because we already know there's no collision. If short ID is undefined and our short ID exists, we don't add it. If short ID is undefined and no short ID exists because we've just added a brand new puzzle without short IDs, we have to create one, right? So if short ID equals undefined and pref info dot short IDs dot length is smaller is equals 0. Then we need to add this. And I'm instead of passing in puzzle raw, I'm just going to pass in p info. So dot puzzle raw. Okay. And then the other case because what I'm thinking now is I can just do that here. If short ID is undefined, Yeah, we can just wrap the whole thing into there. If short ID equals undefined, and equals undefined, and p_info.short_id.length is greater than 0, return the info. If short ID equals undefined, then short ID equals equals await this.generate short IDs the info. I guess we could do this if p_info.short_id.length is greater than 0. Okay, so now we can pass undefined in here and it'll do the right thing. So now we can just do that here. Don't have to do that check at all anymore. We'll have the hash check here and the short ID collision here. I'll just do that. So we check for the short ID collision, we calculate the hash, we check for the hash collision, we'll check if the puzzle exists, we create it if it doesn't, and finally we add the short ID. And here we handle the undefined and do the generation and all of that. And that's now encapsulated in here, and or add short ID should always kind of do what we want it to. And now we should also be able to have something like this, puzzle raw 1. And then we can do and we can do the same thing with puzzle raw 2. All right, so we have this, it's got the short ID, bada bing, bada boom. Now, if we want to add a second one like this, we'll probably want to do this. We'll do something like that. Boom. Don't need the res anymore. So we're now cleaning up our, well, we're cleaning up before the test at least. Hey, this is dangerously close to unit testing. I don't do that. Yeah, so after the second one we have 2. After the first one we have 1. What this doesn't tell us if we're doing something bad, like erasing and recreating the data and all that stuff. Okay. So, update short ID. So, create short ID makes sense because we're creating something under short ID with a given set of puzzle data. We don't really have access to puzzle data without the short IDs, which is interesting because it's a many-to-one thing, and the puzzles can easily exist without any short IDs. But then they're hidden. They're not publicly accessible. So ultimately, we'll probably need to have... well, you know, we can always add a short ID because we can identify them by their hashes, right? Okay, so update short ID now. What does that mean? Well, it means it can mean many, many, many things, unfortunately. And that's where the complexity comes in, right? So there is... I'm going to list all the different ways that update short ID can do something. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that and that for now. And then here, I'm going to write use cases. So, one, and this is surprisingly complex. One, change puzzle behind... Actually, that's yeah. Change puzzle data behind short ID. And well, actually, that's what it does. What it does mean, right? But yeah, I'm expressing this really badly. It's more like what happens, right? So, change puzzle A to B. Cases. B does not exist. Remove short ID from A. Create B. 2. B does exist. Remove short ID from A. Add short ID to B. So then the question becomes, if a puzzle remains without any short IDs. Currently, what we're doing on the file system is we're erasing that, right? Do I want to have a never delete structure? So if somebody just keeps updating a puzzle, like, in other words, do I want orphaned puzzle data? Probably not. So a puzzle update right now should just erase the data. In the future, I might, you know, create a history for puzzles, for puzzle data. It's tricky though, because obviously when the puzzle data changes, if our ID is the hash, then how do we access the previous data? Right now it's via the short ID. So it's kind of like a chicken and egg problem, right? But maybe it's not as complicated as I thought it would be. So let us create our test cases up here now. So we'll delete these 2 puzzles. And I think we had 3 puzzles here, but that's fine. Right? So we're gonna create this. Right, and I think we did these with puzzle raw 1. And then we'll do update short ID. Puzzle raw 2. That's basically it, right? Yeah, so when we're doing an update, we don't care about other short IDs, only insofar that they might be attached to puzzle data that we're interacting with, right? So if I run this, does the test start? Update short ID starts. Okay. So now we basically have to do a couple of similar checks to this. And we might as well have this above. So, we'll probably also need next and previous, something like that. Because the one special case here is when this was the only puzzle ID on the previous puzzle. Now here, when we're creating the short ID, we don't necessarily create puzzle data, right? So an update in this case really is remove short ID, then insert short ID. Okay. Maybe that makes more sense to express it that way. So if I say remove short ID. The thing is, do I just actually want to remove it? And am I happy with just rewriting that puzzle's data completely from scratch? I mean, that is what's happening right now. I'm just not sure if that's the best way to go about it. That's actually not a super easy thing to answer. Let me think. I mean, it'll be the easiest thing, right? Like literally, you know, I could do all sorts of, for example, if that puzzle object has only one short ID, I could potentially update that document. But since the hash changes, a lot of things could change, but maybe, you know, the title has changed. But I don't think it makes sense to optimize it. So I think it's easiest to just remove it all and then reinsert that record, because we have all the data that we could potentially have. I mean, we might lose some data, right? But things like the counter and stuff is handled elsewhere anyways. It's separate. Yeah. My God. This is really bad setup in the long run. I fear for my future. Okay. So, remove short ID. So, we actually want to do this. Let res equals, or console log remove short ID. Wait, this dot remove short ID, right? And then here we'll get by short ID first. Let pinfo equals await get short console.log. And I'm guessing wait a second. Why do we get data? Because we've inserted it. What if we do an update first? Let's do an update when the data doesn't exist. So pinfo becomes null. We'll do nothing, right? So if pinfo equals null, return true, boom. Success! It's removed. All right. Second case is I'm gonna get test 1, test 2. All right, pinfo does exist. I was holding my breath. So we have create short ID. So, man, add short ID, remove short ID, add short ID, remove short ID. I'm thinking, do we want to do an update one like with a remove? Because I can do it two ways, right? I can retrieve the object, manipulate the short IDs, then do our if check. Or I can do an update and then afterwards check if, yeah. I think it's easy if I just handle this in Java land, right? So if I do console.log short IDs, pinfo.shortIDs, and if I do short IDs.filter, pinfo short IDs.filter, we only want to include the ones that aren't the short ID that we're trying to remove. Yeah. And in fact, filter ends up empty, right? So what we really want to do is ideally, I don't actually want to reassign the array. But we could do something like this. New let next short IDs equals this. So then we can do this and this, right? And then we can say if next short IDs dot length equals 0, then we'll delete by short ID basically. Boom. So then we can just say await let res log delete 1 res ID pinfo.id. Boom. So if we have that, puzzle info is not defined. All right, let's define it. Delete 1, acknowledge true, delete count 1. Okay, we'll do this one. If acknowledged is not equal to res delete count is not equals to 1, answer rows dot delete 1. Boom. Yeah, I think it's better if I know which function. How is this result from remove short ID? Deleted count. Yeah, I thought that would be an issue. Okay. Okay. If the length is 0. Else, update puzzle info update 1. Do I need pinfo? Yes, I do. All right, we'll just do that. Let's not be silly, and we'll do set short IDs to next short IDs. If I do this, how do we test that? By adding 2 short IDs first. So if I do this, boom. If we do this, right? So we have the double short ID. Next short IDs is now removed, minus that one. Update requires atomic operators, which have a $sign, I'm guessing. And boom. And we'll do this check. Acknowledged equals true and modified count. Update 1. Okay. Now, We need to check what this looks like afterwards. pinfo.shortIDs. Yeah, because that's still both. So after running this, it didn't get updated, which is a little strange because I feel like we've... This did it? No, we did it ourselves. Okay. So we also need to do that here. Like that. And then we can just return pinfo. I feel like I should be able to do these better. Like, can I do kind of, if I do something like this, p.check result, function, result. So if result.acknowledgement is not equals to true, or, and then we have a whole bunch of these. It's not equal to true, and so modified, deleted, modified, deleted, modified, deleted. I think that's the only ones I can think of right now. Throw new error, unexpected result. Unexpected DB operation. Unexpected operation result. So I should be able to just do this dot check result res. Boom. Check result res. Check result res. Boom. Now we're losing the string of where it's from, and I might add that if this is an error that I encounter a lot. Yeah, I think we can just do that. I guess we could also pass res through in case we want to use it elsewhere. All right. I guess we have a universal result checker, which makes all of this code a bit easier. And I think I can search for acknowledged to see if I have... Nope, don't have it anywhere else. There we go. All right, so we have add short ID, we have remove short ID. And just to verify... Yeah. So we have a remove short ID. And I think that should work here. Short ID is this. Delete one. So here we're removing it completely. And I think it's okay to return the data even if we've deleted it. Alright. I'm just wondering if it's worthwhile to extract p underscore ID from pinfo, because we're using it a couple of times here. It's alright. Next short IDs. Next short IDs is to the length equals 0, else. I think we can assign that already over here. Like, if we do it this way, right? And then we'll do that. I'll return true. Return pinfo. Okay. So we'll have removed short ID. And now we'll just call create short ID and we'll benefit from all of this, right? And I think it's got to be puzzle raw. And that's really all that entails. Okay, maybe the update was easier than I thought. Remove the because we're just making a delete and an insert, basically. Which in this case makes sense, because we're changing the primary key, more or less. Sudo. It's kind of weird. What do you call it when you have many primary keys pointing to the same data? Many to one? I don't know. So it sounds like it shouldn't be called a primary key, though. And we don't need to do any of the other stuff, because everything else is already being handled correctly. We don't even need this. Like, literally, this is all we have to do. And we can literally return this. We don't even need to await this. And puzzle raw should contain all the info we need. That's the only concern I have. In the future, puzzle info might gain new bits of data. But they would be for the other puzzles, so we wouldn't expect them to carry over when we're doing a update of this sort. Hopefully, once we have a user interface, we can let people manage things more accurately, and they can like reassign short IDs specifically and have puzzles and short IDs exist side by side as independent objects. Okay. And this is the return value from our test. I'm glad the testing framework has sort of evolved into this thing now, because I can actually test things more easily. So now, if we go back to over here, I do a create link. Okay, and if I do a update link, wait, no, I think I did the update link test already over here. Yeah. Wait. We've probably not hooked it up to the server. Yeah, here we go. Update link. Wait. Update link. Update short ID. All right. I'm guessing this is what we want. Update. Response error. What's going on here? Update link. Update link. Changed 0, 1. Ah, received undefined. Oh, yeah. Because for this, we actually do need an API key, don't we? Okay. So we have create link, and now we want to do an update link version. Update link, link, apd01 with the same thing, but we want to have a key. Like that. So I do this. The result is this. No, this is not right. This is not right because, oh, yeah, okay, here we go. That's the use case that I didn't handle, which is using update link instead of create link for a brand new short ID. Which should obviously fail with an error message. So let's run that case then. Yeah. So what if I say new 3? Because I think we'll end up with new 01. Test 2. Create short ID. So after this one we have 2. And then, so we have new 1, new 2, and then after this one, new 2 is gone, even though, oh, wait, nope, I didn't do that right. So here we end up with new 3, which is not what we want. Okay, we need to check. So wait a second, remove short ID. Remove short ID. Basically, we want to know what the result of this is first before we proceed. Boom. Remove short ID is true. I think we actually want to throw here. I mean, it's weird because removing nothing and nothing remains, it's almost like it's returned correctly. And for the remove, that's fine. But for updating, it's not. So we can do if true equals short ID. Throw new error. Update short ID. Short ID. $. ID. Not short ID not found. Not found. Boom. If I do this, it should do short ID not found. And we're not handling that over here. Try. Catch. Console.error. Test error. Yeah, short ID not found. Now, here, we need to also do a try. So we'll do a try. We need to wrap this in a try catch as well for the various error cases. Try. Catch. Error. Earn. Error. Error dot string. So if I do this and I do this, unexpected token full stop. No, I think I'm just gonna do toString. Test error update short. Yeah, okay. What about this one now? Error update short ID not found. All right. Yeah. That's kind of what we want. Okay. I think that's the stream for now. I'm getting hungry. I need to find some food. And this finally feels like some real progress. So we have the two fundamental actions reestablished. We have a little test framework. We've actually simplified the code a lot, which I'm very happy with. That needs to be changed. But if I change this from UPD01 to new01, that works. If I change it to new02, that also works. And API get key. All right. We're gonna simplify some of the stuff down the line. PuzzleDB is not gonna deal with the API keys and security and all that stuff. This is lower level. The test stuff probably should go into an external script, or at least go behind a flag. So we're gonna call legacy here, and we're gonna move all the file stuff into API legacy, and then we'll see how we're going to deal with that. And puzzle by short ID, is that used anywhere? So get by short ID. Oh, yeah, okay, so yeah, this is basically that plus legacy, right? Yeah, I'm not sure how I'm gonna parallelize that with the legacy stuff. Not monkey patching. Well, monkey patching, yes. I'm almost tempted to do it with monkey patching. Aspect-oriented programming would be just the thing here. Oops, 1 second. I need to take this message. All right, I'm gonna call it here. My brain is just seizing up, and I need to deal with something. In the meantime, thanks for hanging out. I'm so glad that we're finally getting to a point where I think I can release this and actually go full on the database. There's a couple of things still missing. I need to still have a better way of transferring the data to the server. I need to... I don't even know what other things I'm doing with the database right now. There might be some other systems that still access it, so I might have to actually double up here. Yeah, we'll have to see. All right, in the meantime, take care, have a good day, and see you guys in the next one. Thanks for hanging out. Bye-bye.